Hello again. It is me, Lexa. I am here this week, and I'm going to try next week as well, or for the next session, to present another or record another video showing an additional Google integration. Last week we talked about Google Classroom, and this week I want to talk to you a little bit about Slides Q&A, with Q&A standing for question and answer. So this is a really simple, straightforward, user-friendly way to engage students virtually. And for middle school students, I'd even say possibly fifth grade, maybe at the end of the year, fourth grade, students who have their own devices, their own tablets. This is a great way to encourage them to use their personal devices productively. And it's also a really great way to ensure that students remain accountable if you're teaching virtually. Often when you're teaching, or at least I know in my personal opinion, sometimes I can't see all of my students and I don't know if they're paying attention. I don't know if they're in the background on mute singing Britney Spears. But what this does is it holds students accountable, and it also allows me to check in to ensure that they're understanding the flow of the lesson as I teach. It is great for formative assessment, check-ins, entrance tickets, exit tickets, and encouraging discussion between students. So what you're going to do is, let's say you've created a Google Slides presentation. So I'm going to kind of jump around for a second because I want you to take a look at the screen that students will see. So with Slides Q&A, what happens is it takes a presentation that you've created and it transforms it into an interactive presentation. My suggestion is that students have two devices. Usually students have a computer and a cell phone or a tablet, especially the older students. And I apologize because this is probably more geared towards the older students, though the younger primary students might be able to use this as well, perhaps with the assistance of an adult or a sibling. So what I would suggest is that students keep their primary device open to the Zoom call or to your presentation, and they use a cell phone or a tablet to go ahead and navigate to this website, or this link rather. You can copy and paste that link into a Zoom chat box or a Google Hangouts chat. And then when students enter, what they'll see, and I'm going to go ahead and show you how they'll enter. Okay, so what they'll see is something that looks like this. There will be a bar or a text bar up here where they can ask a question or respond to a question that you pose. And it'll just be like a running, I don't know exactly what I want to say here, not a running stream of responses to the questions that you prompt or probe students. So let's say I ask my students, how are you feeling today? They can respond by sharing, I am feeling tired and hungry. Okay, and then they would hit submit, and it would go ahead, or you would see, and they would see this running stream of feedback, responses, questions being asked. Again, a great way to show accountability for students to show that they're paying attention, and it's also a great way for students to interact with one another. I think it goes without saying, we're all educators here, that it's really important that we teach students our guidelines for this, because as you can see, there's likes and dislikes. I know that with older students, we can sometimes have, a kind of popularity contest, somebody who maybe is the black sheep in the class, and then you see students disliking each other's posts. of course, we want to be a kind, caring, compassionate community, so really drilling those rules and ensuring that students are ready to use this feature, I think that that's really important. So that's an overview of of how you would use it, how students use rather. But I want to backtrack just a little bit. I want to show you how you would access this feature. So you created a presentation. Here's my presentation for the virtual summer series for the next session. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to this present option. There's a drop-down bar, and in that drop-down bar there are two options. I can present from the beginning, or the top gives you the option to go into presenter view. So I'm going to click on presenter view. Presenter view gives you here, these are your slides, and these are the slides, or this is the slide that you're currently presenting, which is highlighted up here. If I wanted to change and present the next one, then I would click on it. Here's the option to change the slide that you're presenting if you want to hop around. So here are speaker notes. I don't personally use speaker notes, but maybe if you're taking notes to recall what you want to share with students, that's where they would show up. But we're really focused on audience tools here. So we're going to go to audience tools. You got this audience Q&A, and down here you have two options. You might just see one option. Here you see two options for me because I already started one so that I would already have it populated to show you exactly what it looks like on the student's back end. So I could continue that one, but I'm going to start new because I want to show you from scratch what it looks like. So here is the teacher's view. So this is what you would see, and students' questions would begin to populate here in a list. So it says accepting questions. It's currently on, but if I wanted to wait, let's say until I taught students how to use it, or I wanted to just turn it on and off when I wanted students to participate so that they weren't commenting while I was directly instructing or presenting the slides, I can do that as well. You can turn it on and off throughout the entire presentation. So it's not that once you turn it off, you can't turn it on again. So I have my questions on. I'm accepting questions. Students' questions will appear here. And that's really the basis of the back end of the teacher's platform. So it's pretty simple. It's a really streamlined design. The features aren't like over the moon technological, but I think that that's why I really appreciate it, because it allows you to continue teaching, but it also allows you to assess students' understanding and keep them engaged in their learning. So there's a lot of different ways. I'll give you an example of one slide that I've created here that I'm going to use during the virtual session to engage the other teachers in the Google Slides Q&A. So stop and jot in the Slides Q&A screen, briefly jot down a sentence or a few words about what you're thinking after viewing the last slide. So I've embedded a timer here. I'm going to turn on my timer, and I'm going to ask my students on their secondary devices, like their telephones, or their cell phones rather, who says telephone, to respond to this question and then engage in dialogue together. So that's the Google Slides Q&A feature. Please let me know if you have any questions. I think I missed something, but I hope that you learned something, and if not, I'm sorry for wasting your time. I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you so much for watching.